Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. So today I want to talk about an article that I read the other day, and this article is talking about what I talked about a few days ago, in which I stated that Dan Houser was leaving Rockstar Games. Dan Houser was the vice president of Rockstar Games, and he has been with the company for a very long time. Him and his brother, they founded Rockstar Games, and this guy was the creative mind behind a lot of GTA games. He did the writing for a lot of GTA games, GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, and so forth. And he also helped with Red Dead Redemption and other Rockstar titles. So this guy was a very big part of Rockstar Games. And with this guy departing, a lot of people are concerned on what's going to be happening. And I read this article the other day in which Take-Two Interactive, they actually stated that things could not be better with Dan Houser leaving the company. They're acting like everything is perfectly fine and that they're going to be doing perfectly well. And Take-Two stock, it actually plummeted down 7% when Dan Houser left the company. And what has me concerned about this whole story is that we don't know why Dan Houser left Rockstar Games. Now, I don't like going into the whole rumor stuff. I don't really do that stuff on this channel. But the reason that this has me pretty concerned is because Take-Two is speaking for Dan Houser. They're speaking for him. We have not heard anything whatsoever, nothing. Days have passed and we haven't heard anything from Dan Houser. If everything was fine, Dan Houser would have just come out and said, I'm retiring from Rockstar, it's been a good run, I wish luck to everybody else at the studio, or something like that. And, the guy can retire if he wants. He's in his mid-40s, but he's still pretty young. I don't see why he wouldn't want to work on future Rockstar games, especially with the next-gen consoles, the PS5 and the next Xbox right around the corner. I don't see why he would not want to be part of projects working on the next Rockstar titles for that. He would be making even more money, way more money. But just unexpectedly leaving the studio. And as you guys remember years ago, Leslie Benzies, who was actually the leader of Rockstar North, he actually left Rockstar Games. And then he actually ended up bringing a lawsuit against Rockstar for unpaid royalties. And eventually that was settled back in February of 2019. But when Leslie Benzies first left the studio, this was kind of similar, in which Take-Two was basically saying, we wish Leslie Benzies luck in whatever project he's going to be pursuing. He's been a great partner, blah, 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 this. Acted like everything was perfectly fine, and then the lawsuit dropped of Leslie Benzies. So, we don't know exactly what happened with Dan Houser, and I personally believe that if Dan Houser left Rockstar Games for some other reason other than retiring, because I'm not saying what I'm saying is true here. What I'm saying, could be false. Dan Houser could have left Rockstar Games because he simply wanted to retire, or he could have left Rockstar Games because of something to do with Take-Two Interactive. I'm convinced that if he left Rockstar for some other reason than retiring, it has something to do with Take-Two Interactive, and he was not happy with the publisher, Take-Two Interactive, or the publisher for Rockstar Games, and they have been pretty greedy, and they've been pretty bad at times, and if you guys remember Strauss Zelnick, who is the CEO of Take-Two Interactive, I actually did a video some time ago, I believe it was up to a year ago, in which Strauss Zelnick was actually defending the use of loot boxes, and he actually said that loot boxes are a form of freedom of speech, and he said that if the government was to get involved in regulating loot box, they will be violating freedom of speech. A nonsense argument. Loot boxes aren't a form of freedom of speech. You're trying to sell a product to people. That isn't freedom of speech, that's marketing at that point. But this is the type of mindset that you have at Take-Two Interactive. A lot of people don't like the CEO there. And the problem here is that Take-Two Interactive, they've done some pretty bad things in the past, and people do not typically tend to freak out on them as much as EA. Now, Electronic Arts, they deserve the freakouts that they get. But the point that I'm making is that they don't get, the same type of criticism that EA gets. And Activision, that's another publisher that's for Call of Duty, they've done some pretty bad things in the past, and they don't get the same amount of criticism as EA as well. But that's another studio, that's another discussion. So I'm going to be reading you guys some things in this article, and it says here, Take-Two recently announced the imminent departure of Rockstar Games co-founder Dan Houser, who will exit the studio on March 11. Following the announcement, the publisher's stock dropped by nearly 7%, just like I told you guys, and I'll link this article down below. Of course, social media has weighed in as well. Some fans are voicing concern over Rockstar's creative future, considering Houser served as lead writer on projects such as GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2. Take-Two, however, insists all is fine, Rockstar seems as healthy as ever, and no further departures are anticipated. Curious if there's going to be any other departures. But like I said earlier, their stock dropped 7%, and they're acting like everything is perfectly fine here. Fans are concerned about this. They're concerned about what the games are going to be like. Just like I said before my video a few days ago, we don't know what's going to happen with the next Rockstar games. Because Take-Two wants to really monetize the online in games with microtransactions like gold bars and shark cards, a lot of people are concerned that the single player is going to suffer in future titles, and they're just going to go all online, and that's a pretty big concern. Strauss Zelnick, the CEO of Take-Two, told investors in an earnings call that Rockstar has never been stronger. His confidence appears to stem from Sam Houser's remaining in his role as studio president. Since Dan's extended leave began in early 2019, Sam has led the company. Given that Rockstar titles steadily outperform expectations, Take-Two seemingly has little to worry about. After all, GTA 5 and Red Dead 2 alone now sit at a combined 150 million copies sold. And if you also add the amount of microtransactions sold, the gold bars and Red Dead and the shark cards in GTA, we're talking like hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, a lot of money here. The CEO also spoke on Rockstar's stability going forward, noting that Sam Houser's commitment isn't wavering. In terms of team stability, Sam Houser is president of Rockstar Games. He founded Rockstar Games. He's a great player coach, and he leads a team of thousands of people every day who are trying to make the most extraordinary entertainment experiences known to man. Those are their goals, and more often than not, they achieve or even exceed those goals, which is just amazing. I don't typically speak for other people, but I confidently can speak and say that Sam is highly committed to the organization, and he and I work very closely together. It's an enormous pleasure to be able to be in a business with Sam and the entire team at Rockstar. Yeah, I don't normally speak for people. Take-Two Interactive also spoke for Leslie Benzies when he was leaving the studio. As a whole, Rockstar never ceases to innovate, Zelnick praised, sharing his pride in how effectively that label is operating. All things considered, he added, things couldn't be better. I really, really do not like that statement. Things couldn't be better. That is a very, very arrogant statement to make. At least they could have said, we are saddened by the departure of Dan Houser. He was a great partner to work with, and we will miss him. He was a valuable member of the team. Saying something like that, but to say that things couldn't be better just as the vice president, one of the biggest guys at Rockstar Games, the writer and the creative talent behind many of the GTA games leaves, they say something like this, things couldn't be better? No. That is really messed up to say something like that. Lastly, Zelnick addressed the potential of future departures, and to be very specific, no, we don't expect other departures. Curious what is going to happen there, but that is pretty much it here, guys, and I'm curious about the next Rockstar games, not just GTA, but I'm just curious about the next Rockstar games, because we're not just going to have GTA from Rockstar, they're going to have other titles planned, and I'm really curious if the single player is going to suffer in their games. How is the game going to change without Dan? Because Dan was a really big part of the GTA games in the past and other Rockstar titles, so we're going to have to see. What do you guys think on Take-Two's quotes here? What do you think exactly on how they're reacting? And let me know what you think down below on why do you think that Dan Houser left. We might get some type of answer in the next few weeks, months. We might never get an answer. We'll have to see. But, if everything was fine, in my opinion, Dan Houser would have just come out and said that, I'm just retiring from the studio or whatever that, it's been fun working, but I'm retiring. But he hasn't made any kind of quote. You would think that if everything was fine, the guy would come out and make some kind of statement, but instead we have Take-Two Interactive, who is speaking for him. And this exact same thing happened with Leslie Benzies when he left the studio. Everything's fine, we wish him luck, all that other nonsense, and then the lawsuit came from Leslie Benzies. So we're going to have to see. Really curious, and if he does have some type of problem with Rockstar Games and Take-Two Interactive, he is going to be going up against his brother, because his brother is still the president of Rockstar Games, and he's still staying there. So we'll have to see moving forward what happens. And again, I could be wrong on this. He could be just retiring, but the reason that I think this way is because he has not made any kind of statement for himself. Instead, people are speaking for him, and I really don't like that. But let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think the next GTA game and the next Rockstar game, whatever it is going to suffer with his departure? What do you think on these quotes from Take-Two Interactive? If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like. And if you're new to my channel, enjoy my content, subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone.